So one of the more important kinds of things you need to be able to do in research, we saved for last, I guess. It's actually pretty important going the opposite direction. So given a graph, or given a set of ordered pairs, more likely you'll encounter if you're doing any kind of research, that you could draw a graph through. So given a graph or a set of data values, data points, can you come up with a formula, a function that describes the data well? So we're going exactly backwards here. You're given the graph, come up with a formula. And here's a technique that works pretty well no matter which kind of function you're looking at. If you know kind of what I would call a standard form for your function, write it down. So let me relate this to something we talked about before. I think the second class we talked about the standard equation of a circle, remember that? Yeah. And in some of the problems you were given the center and the radius and you were asked to come up with the standard equation of the circle, remember? So what did you do? What did I ask you to do anyway? I asked you to write down the standard equation of the circle, remember that? And then that tells you what you need. It tells you need HK and you need R. And then you fill in the standard equation and you're done. Same thing here, it's just a different equation. So write down, you have to identify it. Does this one period of a graph look more like one period of a cosine or one period of a sine? It looks like one period of the sine function. So write down a generic sine function. Y equals A times sine of B times X. And that tells you what, by writing that down, that's all you need to do in terms of writing down steps to follow. Because that one equation tells you your steps. Tells you need to find A and you need to find B, and then fill it in, right? So all you have to remember is to write down the standard form of the equation, whatever function it is you're looking for, and then that standard form should tell you what to find after that. That's your recipe. Is it easy enough to find A? And by the way, this is a 7 right here. Yep. So that's a 7. So can you tell me what A would be? 7. You do have to be careful. If it looked like an inverted sine function, then it'd be -7, wouldn't it? Yeah, but it's not. I just wanted to mention that. So A is 7. Is that clear how we got that? It's the same as the amplitude in this case, but realize A is not always exactly equal to the amplitude. Sometimes it's the opposite. So in other words, just to make it clear what I'm talking about, if the graph had looked like this, it would have been, in red, it would be an inverted sine function, wouldn't it? And you would have said A is -7. All right. But it's not, so don't worry about it. Not yet. Okay, A is 7. Oh, and then what do we need to get B? B is related to what? The period. It's not, B is not the period, but it's related to it. In fact, what equation relates the period P and B? 2 pi over B. Right? If you wanted to, you could solve this in general for B. If you multiplied both sides by B and divided both sides by P, you get B is equal to 2 pi over P. You get a nice kind of symmetry between those formulas. But if you don't want to do that, you could just fill in the first one. What does it appear as though the period is? You can tell it's 6 pi, right? So you could say P is equal to 6 pi, which has to be equal to 2 pi over B, solve for B, right? If you hadn't done it already over here. Oh, so I could multiply both sides by B, does everybody see that? And divide both sides by 6 pi? That'd be an easy way to do it. So multiply both sides by B. Maybe I should do it individually. So multiply both sides by B, and then divide both sides by 6 pi. Okay. What does that leave me with on the left side, hopefully? Well, on the left side, I get B, right? And then you guys said it. On the right side, I get 2 pi over 6 pi. Pi's cancel. 2 6 is really 1/3. Is that clear? Alternatively, if that confuses you, just cross multiply and solve for B, whatever way works for you. Fill in the formula and you're done. Y equals A times sine of B times X. So fill in this formula. What do you get? Y equals A, which was 7, sine 1/3 X, or X over 3, same thing.